welcome you to our today's discussion, and in our discussion we will be talking about how to teach comprehension. This subject or this topic is specifically for those that teach languages, and my interest, of course, is so much highly placed on one aspect, the fact that comprehension is an aspect that comes in the final examination of English language. So therefore I feel that many of us, we may have taught comprehension, but yet the way it is taught may not have reached the necessary satisfaction that gives the learner the impotence to pass an examination. So in this subject, or in our discussion, I intend to quickly define what comprehension is and talk about the basic aspects that which forms comprehension. Now, we know so well that comprehension carries 20 marks in an examination, and we wouldn't afford the learners failing to score 20 out of 20 out of this aspect. Therefore, what we understand is that comprehension is intended to test the learner's understanding and their ability to comprehend the aspects of written materials. Now, what is comprehension? Comprehension itself simply means to understand, or to comprehend basically simply means to grasp the information or the materials that are written. Hence, comprehension means the act of understanding or ability to understand. Now, what are some of the passages that can be used in comprehension as examined by the Examination Council of Zambia? Now, passage to be used in the examination will be adopted or extracted from any subject area and source as long as they are appropriate for grade 12 candidates or learners. Now, the pages will contain the relevant linguistic testing aspects and cross-cutting issues. So those are mostly key elements that when we are thinking of which comprehension to give our learners, it's not just a matter of getting any and give them. No. It must be one that is adopted or extracted from any subject area and the sources as long as they are appropriate for grade 12. Now, we know that learners, when they are learning comprehension at grade 8 and 9, those are basics. But when they come to grade 10, 11, and 12, they are trying to build on the already established foundation as gotten from grade 9. So at this point, this is why it is said that it must be appropriate to meet the requirements as per provision of what the grade 12 should learn. So the passages will contain the relevant linguistic aspects and the cross-cutting issues. Now, the length of the comprehension will range from 500 to 700 words. So a well-suited comprehension for our learners at grade 12 or at grade 10 and 11 must have at least 500 to 700 words. In basic principle, this may be one page, and relatively half or basically just one page itself is enough, depending on how and what linguistic elements that it has. Now the question is, why comprehension? Now it is there to test one learner's ability to understand the aspects of written materials. Learners must be tested as whether they understand the written materials. Number two, to follow the structure of the passage. Are learners able to follow the structure of the passage? Number three, answer specific questions that require specific answers. So in every single aspect of comprehension, it must provide for learners to answer or provide specific answers for specific questions. The other aspect is that to find the main idea of the passage or title and locate information in the paragraph through scanning and skimming. So our learners must have this ability to locate or to generally find the title of the passage or to locate the information that is specific. Sometimes it may not be specific as such, but may be inferential, and learners must be able to trace this information. Now, what are some of the things that one can teach in comprehension? There are a variety of things that which a teacher may choose to teach within a passage of comprehension. Number one can teach vocabulary. One may choose to teach vocabulary from the passage. Number two, one can choose to teach logical thinking. Number three, effective reading. Number four, inferential skills. Now, there are many times that learners lack these skills, and this is sometimes why it is so difficult for learners to understand certain elements of society and how language is used, because they lack inferential skills. There are certain things that a writer may not have brought out clearly, but the learner must be able to detect, to say the writer means this in this aspect when we are dealing with comprehension. Then the skill for overgeneralization. Learners must also have a skill to overgeneralize. For example, one is talking about a person who went to the market to buy mangoes, oranges, apples, bananas. Okay. Now, instead of saying all those things, you can simply overgeneralize by saying one went to the market to buy fruits. Also, in comprehension, we can teach learners the skill of skimming and scanning. And the last one is one may choose to teach comprehension, of course, for the purpose of helping learners to know how to analyze issues. What are some of the effective points on how to answer comprehension? Now, when one wants to answer comprehension questions, or for a child to answer comprehension questions, number one, they should read through the passage carefully and thoroughly. This aspect must be emphasized. Learners must read carefully and thoroughly through the passage. And in their reading, they must read the passage at least 2 to 3 times before they engage themselves in answering or making an attempt to answer a question. Why should they read 3 times? Of course, the first time that they read will just be there to run through and get a basic idea of the passage. The second time that they are reading to understand the passage. And the third time that they are reading, of course, to answer the questions. Number 3, develop the inferential skills, logical reasoning and critical thought to answer lexical questions, these related to meaning of words. The last aspect of how to effectively answer comprehension is take one's time on the part that seems to answer the questions and check through the paragraphs thoroughly, because some answers are directly stated out. So learners must be encouraged that when they are answering comprehension, there is no any other better way of how to comprehend. The only way is to go through the passage thoroughly and find all the answers from the passage. What is the key thought? When answering comprehension, learners must avoid the temptation of attempting to answer questions before reading the passage. And learners must be taught from the onset that all answers related to comprehension or suspected to relate to the required answers are all found in the passage. There is no amount of intelligence that can help a child to answer comprehension than that of going through the passage thoroughly. So all answers, or what could be thought to be answers, are found in the passage. So the child must endeavor to read through the passage at all times and all cost. Now, each time a child make an attempt to answer the question, let them concentrate on the part of the passage that seems to answer the question. They must also avoid getting answers from the options, as answers are found in the passage. When they read the question, then they can go back to the passage to get the answer and drag that answer and check if there is any option that carries the answer as per requirement of the question. The tendency of reading the question then go to the options is a wrong one, and children may never get to the mystery of how to answer comprehension. So children must be taught that when they read the passage at least 2 to 3 times, then they read the question, they must not go to the options, they must go back to the passage, because some of the questions will tell them, say, according to paragraph 1, such a statement means, what does such a statement mean? Then they must not depend on the options, they must go back to the passage and extract the answer from the passage of paragraph 1, then go now to the options, carrying their answer and checking whether those options provide for their answer. If not, then again they must go back to the paragraph. That's the demand of answering comprehension. Once they do so, we will realize that learners will always succeed in answering comprehension. Options are not answers, but mere representation of answers. For example, if the question says, according to paragraph 3, it can be concluded that the passage is talking about. So you can see that in this question, the answer is in the what? In the passage or in the paragraph as referred to paragraph 3. The answer would not be found in the options, but in paragraph 3 as indicated, which when found, the child should drag that answer and get to the options. So, basically, comprehension is one of the simplest aspects that learners must not fail. If it were possible, children here, they can get or score 20 out of 20. And if you as a teacher, you begin from the onset emphasizing on these key issues, it is possible that our learners will always make it in answering comprehension, and they'll find it suitable for themselves always and easy. Thank you so much.